Hey, good evening, everybody. It is August 25th, 2017. We have a major hurricane striking South Texas this evening. This is going to be a devastating night for a lot of people in areas just north of Corpus Christi. Let's get to our current position of Hurricane Harvey. It is moving right on shore just north of Corpus Christi with 130 mile per hour winds. This is the HURR track program. And this shows the range rings of the damaging winds. The yellow ring would indicate tropical storm force gusts. The aqua circle would represent tropical storm force sustained winds, and the red circle would indicate hurricane force winds. And that donut right in the middle of the screen there, that bright red circle, are hurricane force winds in the Category 3, Category 4 range. That's going to be absolutely devastating for the people in areas just north of Corpus Christi, Texas. This is from Hurricane Ike back in 2008. Hurricane Ike hit as a Category 2 hurricane, and the storm surge from Ike raked the Bolivar Peninsula, which is on the north side of Galveston, north of Galveston. And this was the result of storm surge from a Category 2 hurricane. And you only see one house standing, and there's a lot of debate about why that house was still standing. He claims it was well built, but it could have been elevated somewhat, maybe just lucky, I don't know. But anyway, look at the devastation. I think, Bill, tonight, this is the kind of devastation we could potentially see in Matagorda area, Port O'Connor,
Port Aransas.
Port Lavaca, Port O'Connor. There's a town called Seadrift. They're going to take the worst of this. Ostwell.
That's right.
And then you get inland in Refugio County, and you get up towards Victoria, Texas. These are all areas. I don't think Victoria is going to get this kind of damage, but because they're inland. But I'm talking the coastal areas. From Port O'Connor, between Rockport, or let's just put it this way, between Port Aransas and Port O'Connor, this is the kind of damage we could see tonight from Hurricane Harvey as it makes landfall. What were they talking about on the radio today from what you were hearing?
They were just trying to emphasize the flood threat and getting people out. You had a couple of people. The highlight of my day was, and right or wrong, maybe I shouldn't have gotten on the mic and said something. It was just a regular. I had to go back and think about it because I talked to you about it, Jim, over the phone. It was a regular guy. It was not an official. Don't tape your windows. The guy was encouraging taping windows.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Sent me through the roof. That sent me through the roof. You don't do that.
Yeah.
I've been doing this with you for, almost 13 going on 14 years. And that we knew that before I even started this. I mean, all taping is going to do is make the glass harder to pick up.
Yeah, it allows the glass to stick to the tape, and it blows around inside your house when the wind is blowing. It's a really stupid thing to do. Tell me also what you heard today from some local emergency official or a mayor or something said, write your Social Security number on your arm if you're going to stay behind.
The vice mayor of, I think it was the vice mayor of Corpus Christi, said if you stay, you need to write your Social Security number and your name on your arm. Wow. I've heard that before Katrina. I heard that during Ike for people on the Bolivar Peninsula. It's chilling every time you hear that. But they mean it, and it needed to be said.
It's a good idea to do that. It's a good idea to scare people into getting out of the area. And although, I mean, look, I was thinking about this earlier, about the coverage on this hurricane. This is going to be, there are people, not that are listening to the show tonight, but there are people that are going to die tonight.
Yes.
There are going to be bodies found maybe a day or 2 days from now. It's safe to say that we are going to have people die tonight. And it's also safe to say that there is going to be devastation in these areas on the north quadrant of this hurricane, Matagorda, Port O'Connor. Although, with that said, I'm looking at the radar. Let's pull the radar up while we're talking. Here is the radar of Hurricane Harvey making landfall. And there's no dry air intrusion that I can see on that radar, but look at those red bands. Those red bands have winds probably 120, 130 miles an hour. I wanted to talk about the areas that are going to be devastated. It is currently going right over Rockport and basically San Jose Island is where that eye wall is coming on shore. But if you're gonna go back and you're gonna find your house destroyed in the next several days. You're gonna have at the very least, you're gonna lose a lot of shingles. At the very most, your whole roof is gonna be gone and your walls may be knocked down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's Rockport. Very good. Right in the center of the yellow box. This is where a lot of these storm chasers are tonight. We've got Josh Morganman in Rockport. Jeff Gammons is in Rockport. Jeff Gammons and I chased a hurricane back in 1998, Hurricane George, when it came into Mississippi. That was 105 mile an hour winds. And it was in the dark, just like this one. In fact, the timing was almost identical to this, Bill. We were in the dark when the highest winds arrived, and it went all through the night. The hotel was leaking. The rain and the water was coming through the hotel ceiling, and it was leaking in every single hotel room. And this was like a Ramada Inn or something. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a fly-by-night hotel. It was a legitimate hotel chain, and the water was just coming in everywhere, through the seams, through the glass. That video, I have bits and pieces of it on the video archive page. But this is what, similar, at least timing-wise, is what they're going to be dealing with. So Jeff will probably have deja vu tonight with this one, although he's going to see a lot worse with this tonight than what we saw in Hurricane George. Reed Timmer is in Rockport as well. Jeff Petrowski is in Lamar, which is that little town just northwest of there. So he's going to get it even worse. He was up in this area. By the way, Jim Cantori is there as well. Mike Seidel is in Port Lavaca, which is up in here. So we got Mark
right now. That's if you look up.
Where is he?
They've got him on right now. If you look up,
the circles you see on the radar screen there are where the storm chasers are tonight. So let's go ahead and touch on their webcams. But a bad news is it's in the dark, and when you're in a hurricane in the dark, it is scary. You don't know what's going to come at you next. You're going to hear things hitting your house. If you're out in the elements in a truck or a vehicle, you're going to have things hitting it. You're not going to be able to tell which direction they're coming from or what. It's very difficult at nighttime to chase these things. So that's the bad thing about it.
More power outage issues.
It looked like it for a second. Like he's somewhere. Let me mute this for a minute. He looks like he's somewhere, to me, where he's far enough inland and away from the coast, because I can tell you right now, looking at those trees in the background, those winds look like they're about 50 or 60. They don't look like it's hurricane force where he's at, so he's probably inland somewhere.
I don't blame him in the least for doing that.
Right. So remote camera, and this obviously there's no light source to draw from. So, but the camera's still up because you can obviously hear the wind.
Flying debris went over me about half an hour ago.
Mike Seidel of the Weather Channel.
Dr. Jim Cantori down in Corpus Christi as we continue with the worst of the weather. We'll go to Jim Cantori. Jim, nice to get out of the wind for a little bit, but we'll go back out front here in a few and see how much the water has risen over the past hour and a half here in Port Lavaca. 380 and then back 420. More debris flying by. Get in the car for a second, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, how much longer? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. This eye wall just will not come over me. The eye wall's over me, but not the eye. Oh gosh, the car's rocking. It looks like it's trying to push me out of here. The center of the eye is like 1 mile away, mile and a half. Just a mile to my south and east. Just getting super hammered. 65 dBZs and the winds. Let's go back and look at the winds here. Look at this, guys. It's over me. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. I just hit a 150 pixel, 149, yeah, 140, 38, 141, 130 to 145 all over this area. I know my roof's coming off above me. You can hear it. There it goes. There it goes. There's my roof just went off. It's coming off. 938.6. 93, I'm jumping, going back up, 939.4, 939 point, bouncing back and forth to 938.1, 938.9, 938.7, it's bouncing in that 938, 93.7, it's bouncing, that's where it keeps bouncing. That's really, the roof just failed! The whole building just collapsed. The whole building just collapsed around me. Right now, the building just collapsed around me. It just collapsed. There it is. The whole building just collapsed around me. I'm 938. And the eye wall's like a half a mile south of me. The building just collapsed. The roof just collapsed. The building just collapsed beside me. This is the cables. Next to me collapsed. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that was that. And my roof's failing. My roof's failing. Oh my gosh. There's the wall of debris. This is the north eye wall. We have catastrophic damage occurring now. They had 12 of them that collapsed. It totally broke in two. It went airborne literally like a torpedo. And the wind's changing direction. It's gusting different directions. It can't make up its mind which way it wants to blow from because we're right on the eye, right on the edge of the eye. To my mind's probably just, you see, I'm adjusted 9 foot on the reference for my elevation, but you know, who knows? Well, he's got 9. What do you got? 940.
I got 945.
He's got 945.
Yeah, by the way.
And I've got I'm a little bit lower than that.
I think Jeff's barometer is wrong.
What you at?
I'm 933.
Oh, that's way too low.
Yep.
It needs to be calibrated.
Yeah, I meant it says 9 foot on the elevation, but I'll go back and we'll recalibrate it. Maybe about 5-10 miles an hour now. We're in the eye. We're in the eye. We've made it. The buildings around us have all collapsed behind me at this location. Just going to venture out here a little bit, not long. We're in the eye. We're going to come up, escape. I see big guys now. The wind's picking up back out of the east here, straight to the east, maybe about 10 to 15, but we're basically in the eye now.
Regardless of what we get the rest of the night?
Yeah, that was about as dramatic as it gets.
Yeah, that's why we do this. I think he uploaded the same video. No, here we go.
We're in the eye wall here.
And Rockport, Texas. Wall of the hotel back behind us has broken out, and we're about to enter in the eye. Looks like it's starting to calm down a little. Look at all that water piling up against the vehicle. That is insane. That is crazy.
Of 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Eye of Category 4 Hurricane Harvey makes landfall between Port Aransas and Port O'Connor, Texas. Winds are 130 miles per hour. Pressure is 938 millibars. Moving to the northwest at 7 miles per hour. All right, there's our current position, ladies and gentlemen, of Hurricane Harvey, Category 4 hurricane. It's going to be devastating for a lot of people here tonight. When we see the damage tomorrow, I think it's going to be tremendous amount of damage, especially anywhere that was dealing with that red donut that you see on your screen there are just going to have some serious problems. Let's look at the wind speed graph. And here we are. There was Harvey in its very first advisories. You see how it gradually became a tropical storm and then started to become a hurricane here. Advisory number 14. We don't put the dates on here. Maybe I can click it. No.
Remember, we resumed at advisory number 12, so it's a little disingenuous. It degenerated for a time.
Right. But you can see this is where we're at right now. It's peaked out at 130 miles per hour. And let's look at our pressure graph. And you can see the central pressure for Hurricane Harvey started out rather weak, around 1010 millibars, and now we're at 938 millibars. Truly amazing. But you see the steadily intensification as it approached the shoreline, and that's where we're at. It's our eye right just east of Rockport. That is where the eye of Hurricane Harvey is right now. But surprisingly, looking at that back eye wall, it doesn't seem as intense. Maybe there's some dry air working its way into the system. Okay, here we had, well north of where these Storm Chasers videos that you just watched were winds out of the east at 60 knots, gusting to 85, pressure 2876 and falling. Let's go up. Here is Port O'Connor. Or was that Port O'Connor? No, this is Port O'Connor. Wait a minute. Yeah, this should be Port O'Connor right here. 49 knots, gusting to 60. That's at 11 p.m. That's pretty recent.
Yep.
Here's one right on the coast. Southeast at 47 knots, gusting to 62. Mission 20. This is the latest. Yeah, there we go. 938, right at the coast. There's our vortex message. Right at landfall, 938 millibars. Excellent job by the hurricane hunters getting there right before landfall. Okay, we have the surface winds, 111 knots. That's 127 mile an hour winds. Wow.
So they rounded that up to 130, which I got no problem with.
Okay, inner and eye wall temperature separation 6 degrees. Still strengthening, or at least at that time. This was from 29,240. That was from
when you have a strengthening
1049. That's about an hour ago. 45 minutes ago that was from that reading.
When you have a strengthening system like that, all those winds mix down to the surface, making it all the more violent. And that video from Jeff Petrowski illustrates that.
Zoom in and kind of give you an idea what Jeff was going through here. Yeah, this is what the winds he was getting. The 88 knots, winds about 100 miles an hour, gusting to about 120. That's the winds he was getting on the back side of that eye wall. That's what the hurricane hunters were measuring out over the open water. Surface winds 127 miles an hour. The winds of those winds were measured 9 nautical miles to the east-northeast of the center. So that's on the right front quadrant.
He was on the left when
he was on the left. Here's what's interesting. They dropped the drop zone right in the center of the eye. and they had measured winds of 2 miles an hour. That's almost dead calm. That's amazing. You hardly ever see that.
That's dead precision, too.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Here it is. Reported winds are usually averaged over a 10-second period. NHC advisory winds are based on a 1-minute period. I'm Jim Williams. I'm here with Bill Phillips, and we are covering Hurricane Harvey making landfall in just north of Corpus Christi, Texas. 130-mile-an-hour winds.
Just barely inland, scraping along the coast, basically on the beach. Floater loop while we're at it.
Sea drift is just beginning to get in the calm right now. If you live in sea drift tonight, you probably are going to have nightmares about this hurricane.
Probably the best video I've ever seen since I've been working with you, Jim. It was that good.
Yeah, just unbelievable drama. You know, the kind of thing that you watch. It's better than being in a movie, watching a movie, because you know it's real. And
the only thing that would have made it better was daylight.
Yeah, that's right. It's not.
What is this?
See all these buildings right here? They're all destroyed, I guarantee you. All these houses right here, this is the town of Lamar. They all look like nice homes. I mean, single family structures, you know, regular single family homes, well built. Look at the swimming pool, nice looking houses here. It'll be really, really interesting to see how they held up, because those winds were tremendous. I mean, look at the overhangs on some of these roofs, though. Look at these roofs. Look at the pointy ends. I mean, that might be like kite material for wind. Twitter from Tony Mondero up in Harrison, New Jersey. He said that they were reporting 112-mile-an-hour winds on San Jose Island. Looks like they had a little bit of damage to that roof right in front of them.
Agreed.
You look up at the pillar there, right above it. There's some like damage underneath.
Right above the pillar on like the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah.
People aren't going to have homes to come home to.
Nope.
Based on what I saw tonight.
Josh Morgan is reporting he's in the calm eye. Crickets chirping. Some stars. Horrible destruction.
To hear that from him, given what he's seen,
yep,
that's bad.
He's saying horrible destruction, hotel trashed, folks traumatized, a woman is weeping.
No.
There's the trio. There's Jeff Gammons on the right, Jim Eds in the middle, and Jeff Petrowski on the left. He was the one on the left is the guy that was giving us all the dramatic video of the buildings coming apart. So that's a chaser convergence in the middle of a hurricane. That's pretty cool.
Oh, wow! Oh, man, that vehicle is going to be gone. What are they doing in that truck? They need a vent. Game over. very warm. And I did see seagulls at about 10 minutes ago in the eye. In the eye, there are seagulls at a couple of thousand feet. We shone a spotlight up in the eye. And you can see seagulls in the eye wall, and that's what the dual pole was showing as well. So you can see that as well, which is pretty cool. There's Jim. There's Jeff. We're going to take cover. Here we go. The backside's going to be. Here we go, guys. You see where I'm at? Here comes the backside, and the water, by the way, is going to surge up in the bay. We're going to probably take refuge here at this Walmart, at this bay. This is kind of the east side. You see the trailers here, but this bay kind of drops down. So
it's got a concrete wall on both sides.
Yeah, it's got concrete walls on both sides. So we're thinking this is probably about as good as any area safe. I don't want to get right there because I don't want those trailers flipping on me. But we're going to probably all three stack our cars right here against this wall. This is on the east side of Walmart, and so when the winds come blasting out of the north here and northwest, which is the direction those things come flying off the building. Well, those will go south. Those will go south. Those will take off. If those rip off, those are going to go back south. They're going to move south of us. They'll go airborne. So I really don't want to be right here because that debris right there, see all that stuff right there? Well, that wind's coming out of the west, northwest. High likelihood that stuff will go airborne. It'll peel off and just start flying. So we don't want to do that. Yep, zing. Look at see the plywood, guys. See those spikes, those plywood. That stuff will come. That'll be like torpedoes in just about 20 minutes. All that stuff right there is going to be like torpedoes. There's the bay doors. They've held up so far, but they may not for long. Gosh, this back north wall's got all this torpedo stuff. I don't like this edge over here. Okay, he's pulling around. He's getting in position. He's moving his truck. He's making a delivery here to Walmart, but he's still fully loaded. That's probably what kept him from flipping. So now he's going to reposition his truck to the north side of the building. Our winds are going to come out in northwest, then west, and then southwest at about 130, 133. So as he gets back in position, we're probably going to be in that right behind him. I'm not going to be beside him for sure. It's probably behind him or in front of him, and we're all going to be hunkering down over here on this north side as we get blasted from the other direction now. And you can see it's not very far away. Let's go to the eye wall here. Let's look at this. He needs to pull up a little bit farther. We're still in the middle, barely. This is where I'm at right here. This is our location. Still on the eye wall. And correction on the pressure earlier readings, I was off about 0.14. The actual reading was more like 943, 943.8 is what Ed's had at this location, and also Simon too. I was off about 0114. I had a reading 931, 938, and it was more like 943. So we're looking at see our location here, and let's look at what the winds are doing. So I've got winds, guys, just south of me about it's probably 8 miles or so. Winds at 100, 120, 125. 130, 135. It won't be quite as bad as the front. This big wicked eye up north there. This is big. This is 140, 145. That's that big damaging destructive eye wall that came over us earlier. I hope you guys are ready. Live. It's I'm punchy because I'm just. I want to tell you a lot on Periscope, but I can't because I don't want people to freak out about how bad it is down here. It's basically, you can figure it out what I'm telling you between the lines. It's bad. It's really bad. And there's people injured, and I know there's people trapped and all that, and they're not going to get help until tomorrow. It's just that's what's going on down here. I mean, it is. That's what it is. Don't know how many. Don't know how big of an area. I just know it's bad. So we're trying to survive this last. Hopefully, it's not a knockout blow. This last punch coming, and that's what we're trying to do. So as you can see, let me get the velocity winds. Let's go see what we've got. There's roofs, telephone poles, trees down, missile debris. When I say missile debris, I mean like poles, sheet metal. Fence posts, there's fences, chain link, got coke machines, garage doors blown out, we got building roofs collapsed, we got walls that have collapsed, so all that debris is everywhere. It's in the trees are shredded like it looks like a lawnmower went in here about 15 feet above the ground and just busts on all the trees. That's what it looks like. So everything's on the ground, so we're trying to hide and get in the right position depending on exactly which direction the wind blows from. If it's out of my west northwest or west southwest as this back eye wall comes in, and we don't want to be in that debris, flying. So we're trying to make sure that we're not in that. You see where my position is. What Jim's freaking out about, you never hear the Walmart roof on the east side. It's already like half filled up. Remember I was telling you earlier? I said, Jim, don't like it. That's the skylight about ready to come on top of us. Look at that. Skylight's falling right now on top of us. Damn it. Jim, the skylight, there's a skylight just came off the building.
Yeah, okay.
There's a skylight just shattered right in front of us. I guarantee, you know what, Jim, if the skylight's here, it's peeled the roof off and it's going to come on top of us.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I don't like it either. We're gonna get hammered. You see what happens here? Right now, I can hear debris hitting. The stuff in the parking lot. Here they come. They're coming over too. I think they agree with me. I'm gonna pull up.
See that okay?
Yeah, there's debris. God, we gotta figure out which way this dark blonde wind's gonna fly.
I like this.
I'm pulling up for all these guys to get in behind me. They're pulling in. We're all hunkering. Okay, the wind's changing. Once this debris starts, you gotta figure out which way this wind, because the eye is like right on us, and it kind of just depends on how it wobbles. It's really eerie because like off in a distance, quarter half mile, you can hear stuff hitting things, you hear things breaking, and as the wall's approaching, you hear things breaking. It's like somebody taking sheet metal and hitting it with a baseball bat about 4 blocks away, and you know something's coming, and that's all the debris in the air coming back towards you. And that's basically what I'm hearing in the distance coming. Okay, that's not normal. It's like somebody taking sheet metal and hitting it with a baseball bat about 4 blocks away, and you know something's coming, and that's all the debris in the air coming back towards you. And that's basically what I'm hearing in the distance coming.
Hurricane hunters, are they still out there?
Can't
they're
be.
still. No.
They're gone.
It's live.
What the hell?
Let's check.
All right, what do we got?
Let's check a message here. 420Z. That's one. Yeah, that's current. They're still flying.
I'll be damned. Where's this thing at, and what pressure we have?
942. Oh man, if it was daylight, they could get the photo op of that plane flying through the eye of this thing. Those barbs right there, where the circle is, those are winds of 130 miles an hour on the right front quadrant. And then on the back side, these winds down here are around 115, 120. And Jeff Petrowski and those guys are right in here. West-south at 72, gusting to 93 knots. Wow. West-southwest winds. Right on the coast.
93 knots. That would be about, 100, just below 110 miles an hour.
Yep.
Jeez.
Pressure 2867 and rising, naturally, because it's behind the hurricane.
Right.
Rockport. Oh, look at this. Look at this reading. They must be in the center of the eye. Winds east at 5 knots.
Jesus.
That's right. That's where they're at.
East at 5 knots.
Yep. That was at 448 UTC.
Which is?
148. I mean, 1248. That's 35 minutes ago.
Yeah. Wow.
So but then when you look at the real-time radar, I mean, there it is. Okay, here's a close-up floater loop of Hurricane Harvey at 1:45 a.m., 1:44 a.m. Eastern Time. And the eye is clearly onshore now and 35 nautical miles to the southwest of Port O'Connor and 33 miles north of Corpus Christi. So it almost exactly split the uprights, just as I said in my update video earlier today, which was it's going to evenly split the uprights between Corpus Christi and Port O'Connor. That's exactly what happened.
Just kind of give you an idea of what we have dealt with
Let's walk around here. I'm going to point this out. All right. You can see we got big debris here, big pieces of wood. Well, look at this. This is part of our hotel structure. All right. Look at the walls here. You see the brick was low, okay? Well, the second, third, and fourth floors of our hotel, the back window blew out at the peak of the hurricane. I'm going to pan up a little bit more. See that? We're lucky the entire roof of the structure didn't come off and that we didn't have funneling around here just a little bit, because I haven't really seen what else is back here. Okay, there's a swimming pool, guys. Look at all the sheetrock. Look up just a little bit. Look at all this debris. I mean, there's just stuff shredded out through here.
Fade over the next several days, widespread flooding, potentially loss of life, a terrifying situation, no doubt, for so many people. The thing we've been dealing with here has been a lot of wind, a lot of rain, but one place that truly was the tip of the spear in terms of this is down in Port Lavaca. That's where we find Mike Seidel. Mike.
The central Gulf Coast of Texas getting battered early Saturday morning by Hurricane Harvey, coming in as the first Category 4 in Texas, landfalling since 1961. That was Carla. And this is the worst they've seen here since Celia in 1970. They missed Ike here in Port Lavaca. Boy, they're not missing this one. This wind has been unrelenting since...
Harvey made landfall at about 10 o'clock Central Time at San Jose Island, Texas, as a Category 4 hurricane, 130-mile-per-hour winds, and a pressure of 938 millibars in the center. That is among the 20 lowest pressures ever measured in U.S. history as far as landfalling hurricanes. Just amazing winds that we've seen from this. Port Aransas clocked a wind of 132 miles per hour. Lamar hit 110. Near Aransas Pass, we saw 109 miles per hour. Rockport at 108, and Matagorda Island at 83 miles per hour.
Mike Thies, he's at the hotel. Good morning, Mike. And I got Reed Timmer with me, or we're all in kind of the area helping each other out. Reed gave me 5 gallons of gas so we can try to make our way back to Houston. These guys are shooting stuff. Reed's covering the flooding. There's going to be an epic flood event that's unfolding now, right?
Yeah, we'll be covering the rain event after this. There's probably another 2 feet of rainfall coming. You can see that streamer going all the way up into the Houston area, even a tornado threat up there. So.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So we got to watch out for tornadoes when we go east. So that's that's a real quick update. Last night when the back wall hit us, we hit on the Walmart side in town at Rockport, and we had fine debris. It was bad for like 4 hours. I had an 18-wheeler flip next to me, about 20 yards from me. It went down probably about 15 minutes after I lost my live feed. We're safe, uninjured, but we're all pretty much, I'd say, pretty fried. Mike, how would you compare this?
I feel really fried. Well, it was a long night, a long event. It was very, it was extreme wind.
It was bad, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, that was definitely Category 4 force winds, maybe a few gusts reaching 5. I mean, that was just extreme.
Yeah,
so
it was bad. Reed, what do you think as far as all the hurricanes you chased? If you did it real quick, just from your perspective, what you saw, experienced?
By far the most intense in terms of wind speed. Glad that the storm surge wasn't as bad here, because if we had the 1-2 punch here, I mean, who knows? The hotel likely would have collapsed. We lost one side of the hotel; the whole wall was gone. So if our room was on that side, it could have been ugly. But the winds were crazy. It sounded like a zipper going, just zip, zip, zip. As
yeah, those kind of like inner wall vortexes on the wall, the eye wall.
Wow.
And this is what's left of one side of the hotel.
Wow.
This is the stairwell.
Get your mouse out of the way, or is that my mouse? No, that's your mouse.
Well, not much left of this side here.
Wow.
And that looks like tornado damage. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's do that. After.
Anything salvageable?
No, but it was really scary.
Were you in it last night?
Yeah, I was.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I saw this one.
What?
It just blew away. And this one was popping willies. And I guess that tree fell over, and that's what kept it from rolling over.
That one and this one here, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were in this last night?
By yourself?
Yeah, I really underestimated the. I was at Ike.
That's an idiot right there.
It didn't rain, and it must have been 200 miles an hour. It came roaring through, and all the fences were down. But this one I saw, my window, my AC blew out. I was holding on to the window so I could look, and I saw this just poof, and I didn't realize the tree fell down until I came out.
Wow.
It was a foolish thing to do.
Is this habitable?
No.
So what do you do now?
Friends and family, I guess.
Flooding in the roadway now. This is freshwater flooding from the absolute phenomenal rain rates that we're seeing in the eye wall of Harvey. So I am 1 mile from Rockport, the center of Rockport, if you will.
Trees are all stripped bare.
Very, very substantial wind damage here. Indicating obvious hurricane force winds. We have a house that is completely destroyed over to the right. Wow. Cinder block outside. This is just incredible. RV flipped over. This is more than likely freshwater flooding through here and not storm surge, I think. Just from the insane rainfall.
Doesn't look like real bad damage there.
Let him get it up, though. I think he's still...
Gas station got torn up pretty good.
Yep.
Those RVs are all slung all over the place.
Shouldn't be there. Or, maybe they couldn't move them. I don't know, but...
This tree damage is incredible. There's a base shot. Yeah, I'd say just about every other building has got heavy damage.
No question, this is major hurricane damage in Rockport.
That one building there walloped.
Completely wiped out. Wow.
Yeah, very few buildings don't have roof damage.
It's a word I don't use lightly. This qualifies as devastation.
Yep.
In this area. I love making this comment every time we do this. When you get into hurricane force winds, the wind has a different sound.
Yep.
That is just haunting.
Yeah.
It will unnerve you, it will scare you, and it will get your attention.
Now you're speaking from experience of Hurricane Isabel, and
I've heard it out my door with Irene here. I've heard it 2 or 3 times. There's a different pitch to the wind. Now with this, the video doesn't do it justice, I'm sure. It sounded like a jet engine last night.
Here we go.
From Victoria, Texas, and I picked up a little passenger here. I stopped for gas, and this guy was following me down the road. And when I stopped, he jumped into the Jeep. I'm trying to get back to Austin by 2 p.m. so I can pick up my own dogs. They're being boarded, and I'd like to get them so I have them for the rest of the weekend and not leave them at the borders. So I really need help trying to find this guy's owner. We'll call him Harvey. But I need help trying to find his owner. So if you can share, tweet, whatever you got to do to help. Found him in Runge, Texas, R-U-N-G-E. Thanks.
And Mike, you know as well as I do, I mean, like us when we're in the field, our crew, I mean, that's our city, if you will. So for a city manager or mayor, that's, you know, those are his or her people. So you got to protect them. You got to, you know, keep them certainly top of mind. Guys, again, you look behind me here, you can see what almost looks like what they had west of where Steph is in Katy with the tornado damage. Just looks a lot like what you would see with a tornado, but this was a hurricane. This was a Category 4 hurricane that came on shore with 132-mile-an-hour winds measured, okay? Measured, not too far from where I am right in through here. The building, the roof's gone. You've had complete infrastructure collapse on the inside. I'm kind of actually surprised that the inner part of that is gone. I was trying to count how many apartments were actually in this, and I think there's about 8 or 10. From what I can count, but I really can't tell because even some of the inner walls are gone with this. We did, Mike, unfortunately, to just a tremendous amount of destruction. People have no idea what they're about to come back to in through here. I mean, scenes like this certainly are the extreme, but we have shingles gone, we have roofs gone, we don't have any communication whatsoever except for a satellite truck. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to do this. There's no cell service, not because it's just out, but because we've had some damage to the towers. So you've got damage to cell towers, you've got damage to power poles, you've got a lot of these lines that are laying across the roads. We left Corpus Christi. It's about a 30-mile drive up here to Rockport. And about 7 miles in on 35, we started to see all the power poles leaning, all of them. So those will all have to be straightened back up. And in here, obviously, once you get to ground zero, a lot of these poles are snapped off.
Ask people not to do. The majority of deaths in flooding events like this are when people go out in their cars or they start walking into flooded water.
Certainly more to come. Unfortunately, we're again seeing this disaster unfold, and it will be lasting for days here. It's not going anywhere. We're now seeing the center of circulation of Harvey. This is a satellite loop of the last 12 hours. We're now seeing that circulation drift ever so slowly to the southwest. So that center is still over land. So it may weaken considerably, but it still has that direct access to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes, we're talking about the Brazos River, which runs through Richmond, and this does feed into that. Right now it's at about 24 feet. It's in what we call action stage, but by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, it's going to go up another 30 feet. That's the forecast on the gauge, from 24 up to about 54 feet, and that's going to put it just below the all-time record set back on June 2nd of 2016, so not even a year and a half ago. Here we are in Richmond, and we've got water coming from all directions. They've been training on the radar. The storms have been coming over the same areas all morning, so you can see what I'm talking about, DOT vehicle going through. I'll walk out here and show you how deep it is, and it's flowing pretty good through the intersection. And over there we've got waterfalls. We'll get video of that and show that to you later on, but this is the kind of scene we've seen all across Houston with many bayous setting records. Fourth largest city in the country, again, very flood prone, and when you put in 30 to 40 inches of rainfall, this is what you end up with here in Richmond, Texas. We're 30 miles west of downtown. This whole intersection is flooded, but look at all the water that's pouring off the streets into this. This is amazing. Power of the water coming through these storm drains and then heading across the park near these ball fields. We talk about the power of water. You wouldn't want to get caught in this. You'd be swept downstream. And then over here, we'll come around this oak tree and show you more water falling off the street and then under the street. So the storm drains are being overworked, and all the water is flowing out towards the Brazos River. And by the way, we just heard from Fort Bend County that there is now a voluntary evacuation for people that live near the Brazos River and the San Bernard rivers.
Again, you can see here the camera has just parked here on the water, but if you take a look at the radar, we're still looking at incredible impacts here from this storm. These green areas showing you where flash flood warnings are in play. We've got flash flood emergencies, and we've got our feedback up so you can see here, just people being rescued. This is incredible to see the amount of people here that are just being rescued, being taken from their homes, being moved to safer place. This is just devastating to watch this. Some are literally waiting in the water. Some are being taken out in boats, but we've had reports of at least 1,000 rescues so far, just overnight, if not more than that now, as we are, again, continuing to see the effects, and people, volunteers, and enforcement are going out to rescue. And again, look at the number of people going out. It's amazing to see. And yes, just the water levels here, at least up to the waist.
Drive number 10, 1 foot of water inside the mobile home that's 4 foot off the ground, 415 Adam.
My vehicle submerged in water. I got a wrecker truck. We're trying to get them.
Westfield at Old Cypress Wood is completely underwater and unpassable.
The front yard being flooded and 2 people they wanted to be taken away from the location.
Copy that. That's clear. And the water's rising fast in their house. We have a 78-year-old that we're going to try to pull out of here, and the other one is mobile.
Breen and Antoine is rising real fast. That bayou's coming over.
121. I don't know if you've been told, but Alding Westfield at Cypress Island and Mesquite Bridge is beginning to flood at Alding Westfield. The neighborhood is already flooded in.
Abbott 17 Southeast 10. We were just dispatched to this location about 10 minutes ago, and we were not able to make it, so we're not going to still be able to make it due to hot water.
Just be advised, I've had to reroute twice to try to get to this location. I would advise you if I cannot make it.
I'll have 5 children, 5 adults, and 1 dog on board.
5 adults, 1 dog. 70 High Water Rescue 12026 Green Coral Drive, 416 Lincoln. They advised water was going onto the yard. 70 High Water Rescue, 2 adults, 1-story residence, 8922 Kentshire Drive, 415
21 for Houston. Can you send EMS to transport a subject? I'm on here on top of 59, next to the Georgia Extension, where the helicopter's landing. Can you send an EMS, please?
Negative at this time. Stand by. Houston 2114. Could you advise if a patient is awake and breathing at this time?
I got flagged down by a citizen on the southwest side where we're stationed. He informed me that a female with 2 young children are stranded at a residence at 13727 Grand Prairie Drive, Humble, Texas, and that the water is rising. So I just wanted to pass that on to go.
Have 6 to 7 multiple high water rescue calls at that location. People are getting on the roof.
And this is how it's playing out in real life. You're taking live pictures, live look. Dickinson, Texas, that has gone underwater. Water rescues are ongoing at this time. We're on a road called Dietz, and we are on a boat right now, heading out to areas where people have been getting rescued throughout the night, throughout the day today. Look at the cars that have stalled out, that they're basically submerged at this point. So this, by the way, you can actually, even in the distance, I just saw, a Coast Guard helicopter. And straight ahead is Highway 45.
You were advised by David 20, but we've been flagged down about more families that need high water rescue here on Maxwell Road. So we're going to be out here a while.
That's clear. Southeast 16 high water rescue. 2 adults, 11 inches, rising, 12,338. Beach Chester Lane, 414 Edward.
Yeah, I want to show you. I'm standing on Travis, and normally you can go on the bridge and get on 45, I-45. This is the on-ramp, okay? And the on-ramp goes over Buffalo Bayou, and clearly that is not happening. You can see where that light is, that on-ramp sign, all those things. It is underwater. It's been rising, and the folks who live around here have been watching it cautiously. I want the camera to pan a little bit toward the right. This is a condo building. You can see there is the floodgates. It's down, and the water's not over it, and residents here are watching it very carefully. That's a law firm building on the other side. Usually we're a couple of blocks away, but it is clearly underwater. These are some of the oldest buildings in downtown. They've survived many, many years. Sometimes flooded multiple times, but usually not all the way here. I mean, no one that we've talked to around here has ever seen Buffalo Bayou literally come up so much. And this is, again, Travis. And you can see this is a parking lot right here.
To the neighborhood to the right, you'll see another one. There are 3 of them, or maybe 4, that have been scanning this area and either bringing people up one by one by a rescuer actually holding that person and drawing them up into the helicopter, which is what I think we see going on with this one right here. And you'll see the lone rescuer right there. Or they have a basket, and we just saw them a couple of minutes ago unload an entire family from one of the helicopters that they loaded one by one into a basket.
West of Beltway 8 at the water level is rising. If we have any assets available to be moved over this way, or you can relay this information over to the Tidwell, Beltway 8 up to West Lake Eastern area, that there is dire need of assistance. Clear?
Years be advised, 41 boy 14 by the underpass at Loretta. 45 is flooding 2 foot high at this time. Possibly 2 vehicles with people inside were stalled out there, but was not sure.
On Emerald Mist, can you contact the fire department and see if they have any airboats that can deploy over there? You've got individuals in wheelchairs. The water is about 2 feet deep.
Well, earlier this morning, we confirmed, this is the most horrible news, 6 members of the same family, including 4 children, Art, were killed Sunday when their van was swept away by floodwaters from Greens Bayou.
Yeah, the deceased children were ages 6, 8, 14, and 16. This is in a catastrophic event like what we're having. It's a miracle there haven't been more deaths, but every death, of course, is so horrifying.
6 people
so
in
awful.
the family.
Hard to hear, and this is awful because they were trying to get away from the floods.
They were.
Their great uncle, who survived the accident, was driving the children and his elderly parents to his brother's house when that tragedy happened. This morning, Eyewitness News reporter Mayra Moreno spoke to the van's driver's brother about what happened.
When he was coming over here, he said he came up to a bridge on Green River Drive, and Dad said, "Go ahead, go past it. You can make it. You know, you can see the edge. You know, you can see the guardrail still." So he did, and he made it. You know, and he said, "All right, we're home free." But the road dipped down after the bridge, and that's when the water picked the van up, and he said it was just floating after that. And the van started going towards the ditch or towards Bio. And it just went head first in, and the water came in real fast. And he said that he panicked. He just got himself out of the seatbelt. He didn't even unclip it, and out a half open window, and pulled himself out. And the van, he was telling me that he could see it bobbing up and down. It was so deep, and he was yelling at the kids to come out of the back of the van. And I'm assuming, they couldn't even climb up the back of the van, much less open the door. And he said he seen it just go down. And when he climbed out of the van, he said he can hear the kids screaming and yelling. They wanted to get out, you know, so that keeps playing in his head. That's so hard. Yeah, and I could just imagine. And then he seen the van go down and go under the water. And they were just great kids. They really were. I mean, it's hard to say that now, you know, with the way kids are growing up, but I mean, they were just great kids. And Daisy, the smallest one, oh man, she was just adorable. Mom and Dad always had her.
It's hard.
So hard to hear that.
That's tough to hear.
Yeah, it's just we were live on the air this morning when Maida, I understand, or when Maida Moreno spoke to that family, and the family member mentioned that the two parents suffered from Alzheimer's. They were actually in that van, and the driver of the van was just trying to, as you mentioned, get those children to safety, and it was just hard to hear then and hard to hear now, and we're praying for that family. There are